Dr. Nicola here with Pura Vida, and I wanted to chat with you today about paying attention to your body. I'm inspired to do this video because I sat with a new patient earlier this week, and that was really her entire intention for coming in, or like really the foundational piece. There were some other things up in her world and her family history and things like that, but in general, she really just wanted to come in and get a baseline. And so that does include some blood work and some hormone testing and some things like that. She's in her 40s, but it's all happening before she starts being symptomatic or starts moving through perimenopause or anything like that. And it just had me really sit with the importance of connecting in with what's already here. Do we know what our baseline is? Do we know how often we're pooping or how much sleep we're getting or how good that quality of sleep is? Are we aware of how many veggies we're eating in a day or whether or not we eat protein at every meal? Are we already listening and in flow with our body's desire for activity and movement versus rest and restore? So there's all these things that came up. And so as we were sitting together, it was so cool because while we were going through the health history, which, like I said, there wasn't a lot there, there were some other pieces that came through, opportunities to reflect on deep emotional pieces that she wasn't actually even aware were present for her. Some question marks that had been coming up that she wasn't aware were unresolved. So some really beautiful prompts for spending some time with herself to really sit with these emotions. We're going to do some work around that too, and just really allow these things to come to the surface and move through. And then there was also really some aha moments around how to really use the end of the day ritual and move from something that maybe doesn't feel as supportive, like social media or TV or alcohol or cannabis or whatever we do. But typically, we're marking the end of our workday by doing something that prohibits us from dropping back into work. And so a lot of times for many of us, that's a substance, be it alcohol, cannabis, whatever. Um, and or letting ourselves not be caffeinated anymore and then using screens of some variety as a drug, as a numbing agent. And so really what we were talking about was this idea of, well, what does your body really want, and are you willing to give yourself permission to stop? And that might look like something else. And so we went into all these different rituals that might be included, and then all of a sudden room opened up for some of the daily practices she wanted to do anyway and was having a hard time fitting in, and realizing, oh, doing some stretching and some foam rolling and some legs up the wall might feel really great after work, and might again kind of help the mind make the shift from go mode to rest and restore mode. So this is an invitation for you to really look a little closer, look a little more closely at your body, at your health. When was the last time you had labs? Are there any things that have been lingering, that have been nagging you or worrying you that you'd like to address more directly? And that's part of what I love about being a naturopathic doctor, is that we're really just perfectly poised to help with the broad spectrum of things. So yes, we can do some lab work, we can talk about the lifestyle things, we can touch into the emotional pieces, and offer some, more spiritual or holistic guidelines that really just help expand you as a whole person. So thanks so much for joining me today. What I would love to hear, what's one thing that you could pay more attention to today that might expand your connection to yourself, your joy, your clarity, your curiosity, all those sort of things. I'd love to hear that, and keep me posted. Okay, until next time. See you soon. Bye bye.